Hi guys, so today I'm going to tell you how you can actually trim your Flysurfer Sonic 3 or Soul using the Flysurfer trimming tool, but also how you can use a couple of screwdrivers to get the same result. So I've got here a spanking brand new Sonic 11 meter straight out the bag, and I've got a Sonic 18 meter that hasn't been trimmed for about 20 hours, so we'll have a look at the difference.
So before we kick off, I wanted to show you the line plan that you can easily find on the Flysurfer website so that the terminology is clear. This is the plan from the right hand side of the kite. You can see at the bottom of the plan the front main and back main lines are the two lines at the lower end of the mixer that attach to the lines on your bar. The back main line being the right hand steering line in this image. You can then see above the mixer that you have the A, B, C and Z line, and the Z line is the brake line. If we now zoom in on the front main and back main, as well as the mixer, you can see that by adjusting the mixer, you'll be adjusting the lengths of B and C lines, and by adjusting C, you will influence the length of B.
So here we go with this spanking brand new 11 meter Sonic. Got the bag here for the sand to hold it down, and as you can see, this one straight out of the bag, nice and crispy.
With usage, lines will shrink, and you'll need to retune the kite by adjusting the mixer. This is a brand new kite and it should be perfectly tuned by Flysurfer before leaving the factory. Let's have a look. So you simply put the front main line and the back main line into the ground with a screwdriver to hold them tight, and then you can move up to the short mixer to check out the lines and make sure they're all even. So as you can see at the short mixer, the line A, which is this one here, and Z, which is this one here, are exactly the same length. Now if you pull with 5 kilos on the B and C lines, you can also see that they are the same length at the short mixer. This is exactly what you'd expect from Flysurfer straight out of the factory, delivered and ready to fly.
So once you've checked the one side, you want to make sure your kite's symmetrical. This one should be because it's a brand new kite. So come back to the short mixer, make sure everything's aligned. Of course, no shrinkage because this is a brand new kite. So you have the A and the Z lines same length, and the B and the C are all aligned on the short mixer.
We'll now take a look at the trim checker. You'll need something firmly fixed to the ground to attach it to. At the end of the trim checker, you've got 2 loops to attach the front main and back main lines to. The advantage of this tool is you can actually adjust the front and back main lines, and you can also pull to 5 kilos of pressure. And here I'm attaching the front main and back main lines to the trim checker.
So the good thing with the new Sonics and the Souls, you actually have markings here to do the mixer test. So a mixer test can only be done once the Z and A lines are lined up. So you take your Z line here at the bottom, and you find your mark, and you take the A line, and then you even them up through the mixer tool. Make sure that they're both even when you put with 5 kilos. You can see, putting with 5 kilos, they're both even. Then you take the C line. I like to take the C line first because if I do need to adjust something, I'll adjust the C first. And you can see the C is aligned. And then I take the B line, and you can see that the B is aligned up as well. So this is a brand new kite, as I mentioned, so out of the Flysurfer factory, everything is completely aligned. Okay, so we've just seen that the 11 meter Sonic 3, straight out of the bag, is set up perfectly by Flysurfer. Wouldn't expect anything less, it's all trimmed and perfectly ready to go. So let's see how that compares to this 18 meter kite, which has about 70 hours of flight usage. It's had a few swims. and it hasn't been trimmed for about 20 hours.
Again, we'll check the A main and the Z main to see whether there's been any shrinkage in the lines.
Don't forget to sort your bridles out before, so you've got the A, B, C and Z all sorted before you do any sort of length test on your lines. Okay, so we can see here that this is the A line and this is the Z line. So we've got about a centimetre of shrinkage here, probably normal for this sort of a kite, with the number of hours it's been flying and the fact that it's been in the water a couple of times. So we've got about a centimetre. Now, because of course we're talking about the Z and the A lines, that 1 centimetre will be compensated with your bar in out.
The fact that the Z main is slightly shorter than the A main will be compensated at the bar, but it will also mean that it will affect your backstall if you like to run backstall. So you may need to change the length of the lines on your bar to compensate for that. The other thing to bear in mind is that for the kite to fly properly, if there is a shortening of the Z main on one side, the shortening of the Z main on the other side needs to be symmetrical. The length of the A main and Z main can't be adjusted by adjusting the mixer.
Okay, so we're just checking the other side of the kite now. So if we look at the A and the Z line, there's about a 1 centimetre difference here as well. So that means that the two sides of the kite are symmetrical. The Z line is shortened by the same amount on both sides, so that can be compensated by your bar in, bar out. Okay, so we'll set the 18 metre up for the long mixer test. You can see here, because you've got the A and the Z, this is what allows you to adjust and make sure that when you're at the kite, the A and Z are the same length before you look at the B and the C. So once again, we'll start with the A and the Z. So that's the Z line. And if you look down at the kite, you can actually see the Z. The colour. That's one of the really good things about the Flysurfer kite, is you can actually see the colours when you're sorting your lines. Okay, so I'm going to even up here the A and Z before I look at B and C to make sure that they're the same length. Pulling on that tool with 5 kilos of pressure, you can feel it as soon as the tool tightens up, only 5 kilos. And now, as I said, I always prefer to look at C first, because changing C will influence the length of B. And you can see here quite clearly that the C line is quite a bit shorter than the A and the Z. So we'll need to go and change this at the mixer. So as I mentioned, by changing C, which is this one here, that will influence B further up. So I always like to start by changing C, and that will automatically adjust B, and then I might need to fine tune B afterwards. So because C was short, I need to make this longer here, so I need to reduce the size of this loop. So I'll just pull here to open it up, and then feed some of the line through to reduce the size of the loop and to lengthen the overall C line. So make sure once you've done that, you put it tight before rechecking. Otherwise, when you fly the kite, it'll pull tight and it might put it out of shape. Line up the A and the Z so that they're equal. And now I'll take the C, and that change that I've made means that they're all lined up. So changing that mixer at the bottom will change the length of the line here. So C's looking good. Now let's have a look at B. And you can see B has been automatically adjusted by the adjustment I've made on C, and B is now perfect length. Pull 4, make sure that A and Z are aligned, and then pull with equal pressure. As long as those labels are overlapping, you can see here they're aligned, and we've got a perfectly trimmed kite.
The trim checker tool is really good as it enables you to do the long mixer test easily on your own by adjusting the A and Z, and it also provides the 5 kilos of pressure as a reference.
But you can do a long mixer test with a couple of screwdrivers if you haven't got the tool. So basically, you put the A and the Z lines in the ground with about 20 centimeters difference. Once again at the kite, before you look at the B and C, you need to make sure your A and Z lines are aligned. So this is where it's a bit more tricky without the tool. So you can see here that I've got the A and the Z, and they're completely out of sync, which means that you've got to go back down to the screwdrivers and basically adjust the screwdrivers so that the lengths are the same. Now that those screwdrivers have been adjusted at the bottom, if there's some fine tuning, you just adjust the angle until you make sure that the Z and A lines are aligned. And then once again, you pick up your B and your C line and you pull with 5 kilos of pressure. So obviously here it's difficult to say what 5 kilos is without the tool, but it's a rough idea. And you can see if I pull with 5 kilos of pressure, all the lines are aligned. So you can actually do it with screwdrivers, it just takes a little bit more time. Okay, so now we'll just make sure that the other side needs adjusting. So once again, the beauty of this mixer tool is that you can adjust the A and the Z. You've also got that 5 kilos of pressure, so you know how hard you're pulling. And these new tools that Flysurfer have come out with, they're actually delivered now in the bags with the new Sol 2s, but you can order them individually as well if you want some additional ones or if you haven't got any for your Sonics. Once again, that's something that I really like with the Flysurfers is you've got different colours, so it's a lot easier to actually do the tests and to know exactly which lines you're actually using. So we've got the Z here, you can see because of the orange colour, and the blue being the A. So very simply again, just make sure, I'm exaggerating this a little bit, but with the mixer test, you line them up, you go through the mixer test, you pull on 5 kilos with the tool, and align the A and the Z, and C. And as expected, the kite's sort of symmetrically changed on both sides, so there's about 1 centimetre short on the C. Now another important point is that people often think that lines stretch and they get longer, but they actually shrink. So with the water, salt water drying, getting wet, they actually shrink. So we have to make sure that we increase the length of the C. So we'll do the same as we did on the other side. And then grab the C. Perfect. Let's check the B. Hold 5 kilos. Okay, so the B is a little bit short. So that's why I always say start with the C, because it would have influenced the B. And there's not much in it, so we'll just do a slight tweak here and see whether it's enough. There we go, the A and the Z lined up with those 5 kilos. The mixer tool is pretty easy. And then if we pull B, C, you can see now that they're all perfectly aligned. The kite is now in tune. There we go guys, so I hope this little video has shown you how you can actually use the new Flysurfer mixer tool, and if you haven't got one, how you can use just a couple of screwdrivers to do a long mixer test on any of the Flysurfer soles or the Sonic 3s to make your kite fly perfect.